All right, questions back yet again. This month, here we go. I've never heard you talk about TCG card market or that you've bought TCG cards before. Would you be interested in your thoughts on TCG cards? Sure, no problem. Okay, so here's the deal. You're right. I don't really partake in the TCG market, not from a seller or collector perspective. My daughter is huge into that market, so I've been teaching myself a lot. In fact, we've been going around. She's even set up at a show recently at 9 years old. She set up at half my table. Anyways, yeah, the moral of the story is, outside of your Pokemon, Mew, Charizard, stuff like that, I'm not very familiar with the TCG market, but I am trying to learn, and actually my 9-year-old is doing most of the teaching for me. Question number 2, are you chasing petard? If so, what retail and hobby products? Okay, we had a little fun with this one in the original post. I made a comment about a couple other petards that I knew. Obviously, here we're talking about Connor Bedard, which he completely agreed with. I'm not going to be chasing him in any product. Look, I am not someone that's going to chase breaks, right? I mean, I'm not really huge into hockey. Right, there's a couple of hockey cards I will go get my hands on because I like to have them. I have an Ovechkin, I have a Connor McDavid, things like that. And I'll probably go try to get my hands on Young Guns when they finally drop. Am I going to buy into breaks to try to hit it? No, that's not really my thing. But hey, I wish all of you that do the best of luck and hope you can hit them quick and often. All right, next one. By and large, you are a you do you when people approach this hobby, but do you have any absolute do's or don'ts? Does it boil down to DBAA? By the way, that's don't be an a-hole. Look, I don't really want to say there is any true hard and fast hobby do or don't. I mean, look, if you want to charge more, great. You want to prospect hunt, that's great. It is kind of a you do you sort of thing. I think if you were trying to push me into a corner and say I had to come up with something, it'd be something like don't do what you see a lot of the people on YouTube, Instagram, and things like that do. Don't overextend. Look, everyone has a budget. Some budgets are in the tens of thousands of dollars. Some are in the tens of dollars. Don't overextend yourself, especially for pictures of men on cardboard. I really like this one. There are some that say the hobby only grows when a card consistently gets sold for a little more than the previous sale price. What do I say? I don't see how it could be more BS. Something like that implies that people are waiting to see card prices go up to somehow get in or expand themselves within the hobby. I mean, how many kids or how many people do you see jumping in that tracked metrics to see if a card actually went up in price or if cards are reselling for more than the previous time before they decided to grow within the hobby? I think to me, some of the biggest things that make collector spaces, including our hobby, grow are liquidity, meaning people have access to things, disposable income, and availability of product. And I'm not talking about the folks that run into Walmart and places like that, right? Buying up all the product and then doing retail breaks, none of that. I'm talking about accessibility of items and people having the money to spend on it. Outside of that, you really need to somehow tie a sport that a certain person likes into the collectability of that market. It could be the form of regular television commercials, could be social media posts, whatever the case may be, right? But I don't think sale prices are really a key to making the hobby grow. Now, I don't think you want a bunch of people coming in finding everything they purchase completely craters. That's not good either, but I wouldn't say a true tale sign is card prices constantly going up being a direct correlation to the growth of the hobby. All right, next one. If you could change one thing about the hobby, what would it be? I think I'd have to go with transparency. Now, it's kind of a more holistic concept, right? But what I mean is lots of information is just not out there and not available, or requires you to do so much digging that it's almost impossible to find it, right? So I think transparency from the manufacturers, transparency from the distributors, transparency from your LCSs, from your content creators, from the dealer across the table, from you, the buyer. Be more transparent, be more open, be more honest. Give everybody all the information, or as much as you have available to you. I think a lot of times the sports card hobby feels like a hobby that hides in caves and crevices and corners. People trying to keep information from you for one to n number of reasons. I think if everything could be more transparent, actually, this might turn into a video idea. Thanks for the question. But actually, someone like Ziggy actually touched on this not too long ago, maybe a week, Could have been 2 weeks ago. I'm not exactly positive. But he was talking about for hit rates, what's available, what's been pulled, what hasn't been pulled. I think a lot of that loops back in. All of that information and trust through transparency could only benefit the hobby as a whole. All right, next one. I didn't see you shoot anything from Cards HQ, but a lot of other influencers did. How come? Because I don't give a crap. I don't care about that shop. I don't care about most shops around the country outside of the local ones by me. Look, I don't do this thing to try to grow a brand. I'm not trying to make myself bigger. I'm not trying to make business contacts. None of that. Because really, that's what that was. When you saw everyone shooting that, and I don't begrudge any of them for doing it, but that's really what you watch there. A whole bunch of people trying to make connections, trying to establish homie hookups for the future, whether it be for content, product, whatever the case may be. And again, I'm not begrudging them of that. But I see no reason for me to get in the car and drive 8 hours or fly to Atlanta to go to a Costco version of a sports card shop. And this is taking anything away from Jeff Wilson and what they built. Look, it's absolutely gorgeous. I watched some of the content. It looked really nice. But at the end of the day, it's selling cards, it's buying product. So for everyone that went, it was about the connections or just saying they were there, which are things that, I mean, I've gone on record numerous times of saying, I don't really care. All right, next up, what do you think about the YouTube Sports Card Hall of Fame? Gotta admit, I didn't expect to get a question about the YouTube Sports Card Hall of Fame. I mean, I think it's cool. I guess it's a neat idea. A bunch of folks got together and said, hey, well, actually, theoretically, Mike started it and it's picked up from there, right? Hey, let's come up with something that gives credence, credibility, justification, right, for folks that have been making content for a while. Now, of course, this content is very, sorry about that, it's very collector driven, right? A lot of the guys in the YouTube Sports Card Hall of Fame, channel size doesn't matter. They show off their collections, talk about the sport they like. A lot of baseball guys. Hey, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Look, at the end of the day, you do you, boo, right? If you want to make a Sports Card Hall of Fame, you get to set the criteria for what that's going to be. You get to figure out how you want to do it. And people can want to join, people cannot. Do I ever expect to see folks like, I don't know, Dustin, Sports Card Dad, or Neo, or your Card Collector 2s, or any of them ever get into this thing? No, I think that's going to be by design. I don't think they're really going to try to push to put larger content creators into this space. I think it's going to take away from their overall goal. Do I think it's a bad space, though? No, absolutely not. And I do enjoy watching who gets voted for and who not. Will I ever get a vote? Well, first of all, I'm nowhere near eligible time-wise yet. Do I think I'll ever get one? Nah. Do I care? Nah. I've actively tried to avoid questions like this next one for a little bit now. Who are your 3 to 5 favorite content creators to watch? I don't know what everyone's going to expect. Everyone watches whatever they want, right? Good, bad, large, small, doesn't matter. But I really can't give you a top 3. I mean, if I was going to give you a list, I'd say I enjoy Dan the Cardman. I think he has a lot of good information, a lot of interesting information. Do I agree with everything he says? Absolutely not. But, welcome to humanity. Baseball card, collector, investor, dealer. Tons of great information. Super entertaining. Really enjoy it. Speaking of entertaining, SCV Sports Cards, only been in the area for a while. That dude is friggin' hilarious. Just the way he delivers stuff. I just think he's extremely entertaining. Do I agree with him? 60% of the time, maybe 70%. But overall, it's not about agreeing, right, in totality. I've always enjoyed Scotty B Cards. I mean, they have a spin-off podcast now with Filmington and some other folks, which is also interesting to listen to. Sports Card Radio is always entertaining. AIH, same way, informational, entertaining. And you dip into that kind of stuff from time to time. It's important to get all sides of everything. I think if you were really asking the type of content I don't really watch, is vlogs. I really could care less about watching Roth Cards or, I don't know, Mojo, or most of those guys, right? That's not an indictment on them. I don't really care to watch stage deals. I don't really care to watch that kind of stuff. I mean, knocks hats off to everyone that does it. It's just not really my thing. Probably because I'm an ancient old man. That's another interesting one I didn't really expect. I didn't think any of my content would really point to this. Do I do breaks at all? No, absolutely not. I don't. But hold that thought for 1 second. But I do like to get into breaks, specifically the guys at 101 Card Shop. I break with them from a hobby perspective almost exclusively. I really like those guys. Their prices are good. Shipping is safe. Everything's transparent. Their setup's multi-camera. They stream on many platforms. It's just really good. I really enjoy those guys. Now, also, I did say hold on a sec just because I may start to try to do something. It'd be very random and only probably be people that, I've known for years, because there are lots of guys in this space I've dealt with over the last 30 years, a lot. I was thinking about trying to dig back into the old archives and bring back stuff we used to do. Like, I don't know, for example, let's say I go to Walmart and buy 10 Prism hangers, right? That was $21.67 a piece, so call it 220 bucks. Take that money, find 5 other people that all want to get together. We'll take that 220, add $5 for shippings and supplies, so that takes it to, say, divisions, so 6 divisions. Yeah, call it 250 bucks. We all divide it up, do the break, make zero profit, a penny or two maybe, but absolutely zero profit, just to give us all an opportunity to break a product with like a random division or something like that. I don't know. I'm playing with it a little bit, and if I do, it's not going to be something most people can join, but that's probably the only way I'd ever do it. I saw this one coming from somebody. Earlier in the year, I talked about this. Where is the different content I talked about? It's coming. It's coming. You just got to be a little patient. I told you there's only going to be 4 to 8 of them probably throughout the year. And I've worked on a couple of them, and I just really haven't liked how they came out. So I'm playing with some scenarios, changing some things up, because I really want them to be impactful. And the irony is I'm probably going to put more time into those and get less views than I ever have than almost any other type of content I made. But I feel like it's important, so I'm still going to do it. You just got to be a little patient. Trust me, they're coming. Also, if you can think of a question that you want to ask me to have me answer down the road, a month or 2 from now, drop it in the comment thread here below. Or even if you think I'm full of shit or whatever the case may be, drop a comment. I'd love to chat with y'all. As always, it's a ton of fun, and I'll see y'all at the next show. All right, it's finally happening. Channel for, about 2 years? I've never done a giveaway on here, but I always give stuff away at shows. We're changing that right now. Here we go. 2 things I'm giving away for my first giveaway ever. 2001 Topps Chrome Late Edition Albert Pujols Rookie. It is a PSA 6. But number 2, a full hobby box of Topps Chrome OTE Basketball 21-22. Thompson twins are in this product. Now the rules will be quite simple in the description of every video through the end of the month of March. What we're going to do is pretty straightforward. If you want a shot at the baseball card, you're going to comment in the video, baseball, nothing else, just baseball. If you want the basketball hobby box, you're going to comment in the video, basketball, nothing more, nothing else, right? Then at that point, if you want a shot at both, 2 different comments, basketball and baseball. It's going to allow me to gather all the way through the end of March, all of these comments together, and then I'll run a random. Person on top wins 1. Hey, you could even win both. Or you could pay it forward. If you win 1, tell me to pass it on, and I will take that and give it to the number 2 person on the list. Now, obviously, if you were subscribed, it'd be a lot easier to track you down, but you're not obligated. Of course, it would mean a lot to me if you did. Regardless, I think I beat this dead horse. I think y'all get it. The contest rules will be in the description of your video. Please have a good time. Just follow the simple rules, and hopefully you win one of these, or both, beginning April.